Hey guys, welcome to Impact. Today we're going to put a all-inclusive Serpentine kit from CVF Racing on a 1989 Ford Mustang. It's got a 302 small block with a 347 stroker kit. So this kit's going to include the air conditioning, GM Type 2 power steering. I have a pressure reducer for that I also ordered from them, and the alternator as well.
So the original plan with this car was to go with a electric water pump, but this kit comes with a mechanical water pump, so we're going to take the electrical one off and put the mechanical one on.
Now we got to take off the electric water pump block off plate. Alright, so now we've got off the backing plate for the electric water pump. We scraped and cleaned the old gasket off. We have a new gasket that came in the kit from CVF Racing. So we're going to apply some black silicone to it on both sides. First stick this gasket on, and then we'll put the water pump on. Alright, so before we put the water pump on, we decided we're going to go ahead and put the hub assembly on for the dampener. This is an aftermarket dampener that came with the stroker kit for this motor. So it's a 3 and 4 bolt adapter. Comes with a small plate in the back that'll go on the back side. And you'll use the 3 long bolts that comes with the adapter. Now we're going to go ahead and install the pulley for the crank. Make sure when you put it on, use the small bolts included with the that were included in the box for the adapter, and the drilled holes. There is a recess on one side for your bolts to fit down in flush. So make sure you just put it on the right direction.
So here's the cap for the crank pulley, and these screws are just like the other screws to put that crank pulley on. They just seat down in there and sit flush. And on that way you have 3 screws. Here's the screw size. I have pretty big hands, as you can tell. We'll get that on.
Okay, so now that we have our crank pulley on, we're going to install the water pump. I'm going to go in and silicone this side of the gasket just for a better seal, probably just around the water ports here. And then there are 4 bolts that are already installed on this water pump. You'll have to leave them in. Holds this backing plate on. This pump's oversized for the timing cover, so these will not hit where it sits flush. It'll sit flush right in this area here, and we'll go ahead and get this installed. Okay, so now that the water pump's installed, we're going to install the mounting bracket for the Serpentine kit. On the front side, you have relief cuts for your bolt holes, so that you know which direction your bracket goes. So to get it in there, I went ahead and threw some bolts in, and the bottom ones, I've got the 0.57 inch spacer on the driver's side and the 0.85 inch spacer on the passenger side, and I'll go ahead and get this started now. On the top, we have the 1.9 inch spacers, and that'll be for both driver's and passenger side. So the next step is going to be to install the alternator, and the alternator will use a for the top, it'll be a M8 bolt, and then the bottom will be a 3/8, 16ths, and 2 3/4 inch. I'm gonna install it on this side, and once again, there are recesses cut for where your bolts will go. It says to start with the top bolt, and then go to the bottom after you've got that. So now we're going to install the AC compressor. Make sure whenever you install it that the fittings are facing upwards. And once again, we'll use the M8 bolts provided in the package. So now the air compressor is on, I'm going to install the hose, your air conditioning line hose connector, and I have to take off these 2 bolts and install this with the bolts provided in the box with this. Now the AC compressor is on, I'm going to install the AC pulley cover with the 3 bolts that were provided. So now that the alternator pulley and fan for the V-belt is removed, we'll make sure that our spacer is still on the back side. We'll install the fan with the fins facing towards the alternator body. We'll put on the pulley, making sure that the recessed part goes to the top. It's good to go. And now we'll install the alternator pulley cover. The cover and the screws are provided in the same box. Now just going to reinstall the alternator since I ended up having to take it off to be able to put the impact on it. Okay, now we're going to install the idler pulley. We will use the 3-inch nut given in our kit, and we'll leave the decorative cover off until we are finished with the installation. So the next thing we're going to do is install the power steering pump, but with this Foxbody steering, this pressure is rated typically 1400 psi per CVF's website, so we had to get a pressure reducer kit, and we're about to install the pressure reducer. So we will remove both of the fittings. Already broke them loose beforehand, and this will be the new valve going in. This is the old valve. There is a spring in here that you do not want to lose. And you can see that on the new valve compared to the old valve, there is an extra washer there for space. You'll install that, making sure that it fits down in the spring, and reinstall your fittings for your line. So now we're going to install the power steering pump with the bolts provided. Now we're going to install the power steering pump. Now we're going to install all of the idler pulleys, and they will go into these slotted holes right here. Now we're going to install the idler pulley caps with the provided hardware in each box. All right, and now we're going to install the water pump pulley and the water pump pulley cap. And now we're going to install the idler tensioner pulley cover with the provided bolts in the box.
Alright guys, this wraps up the installation of an all-inclusive Serpentine kit for a small block Ford from CVF Racing.